How is it going there, guys? Mr. Benji here, and welcome back to Devlog number 3. So on Monday, I pretty much modelled the spider. I didn't do too much. I just modelled the spider. I had to do a couple of bits of research, and I didn't want to follow a spider vertex for vertex kind of thing. I kind of wanted it to look like a spider, but I wanted to put my own twist on it. So this is what I did. I just followed the basic shape of the spider image, as you can see the reference image there, and then changed a couple of things up. And obviously, I was gonna do with one eye, but then I thought, nah, I'm gonna go with a 4-eye type thing. So coming up to Tuesday, what I did on Tuesday is I animated it and textured it. Now, animating a spider proved very difficult, simply because you'd have to move every single bone to make it look like it was running, if that makes sense. And I had to do a lot of research with the YouTube and like what spiders walking and stuff like that, and it sucked. I hate spiders. Also, I did texture. As you can see now, the texturing part is coming onto it. I went for the basic texture. I didn't want to go too OTT with the situation. As people say, less is more. And I knew that I wanted the back bit of the spider to glow up red as well. So how I did that is I went on Photoshop and I got the white map for the glow on Unity. And then obviously I made a shader that made the back of it glow. So anything red will glow up red, but obviously within Photoshop I had to make anything that I wanted to glow white. I don't know how it works like that, but it's obviously like the same with like a height map on like Blender. If you want a specific height map, then you go and you make the height map, and then Blender will read whatever colour is what. Like the darker the colour, I think it's lower, and the lighter the colour, the higher. I think that's kind of what it does with the glow. So like with white, that's what the HDR uses as a glow. I don't know. I'm not a perfect shader person. If you're watching this and you're listening to me like, what are you on about? That's how I grasped it anyway. So whatever's white glows, whatever's not white doesn't glow. So everything else is black, but the red parts are white to make it glow red, which confused the living bejesus out of me. But yeah, anyway, you know what I meant. So coming up to Wednesday, I'm doing this like not live by the way, so coming up to Wednesday I went on Unity and I implemented the spider onto Unity. I had a couple of problems with the spider, and I also had to edit a couple of things as well. So the combat was annoying me, because basically to start it, the combat when you was initially fighting, if you initially clicked on an enemy, you'd hit him. Like no matter where you was on the map and you clicked on the enemy, you'd always take a bit of life off of him. And for the life of me, I could not figure out how to actually get the life working. Like I wanted him to get close to the enemy and then like hit. But as you can see on now, I'm actually currently making the glow work. So obviously whatever's white is glowing, whatever's not is not. So his eyes glue and glowed. I don't know. It's one of them. His eyes glow and his back glow as well, which I actually thought was a nice touch. He's a bit basic as well. Like the legs just look too skinny as well. So I did actually change a couple of things about the spider. And as you can see now, the guy's actually fighting the spider, and I couldn't figure out why the slider health wasn't working, but then it took me about 10 minutes to figure out that I didn't apply the actual slider, which sucked, but I managed to do it. So I mean, you can fight spiders now, and I also know how to set up different enemies, which is good. Not just like a melee enemy, but like a spider. I suppose spider is technically melee, but like, you know what I mean. And as you can see on the screen now, I had a problem with the spider pushing as well. So I had to go into the code and set a distance, not the stopping distance, but like a distance to where the spider would start hitting as well as like noticing you. Because I think before I just did it within the code, but I did actually end up doing a variable where the distance would be a certain amount, and then that obviously jumped over to each enemy, so I could set each variable differently. So like obviously if it was an enemy that had like decent hearing, like a wolf or something like that, they would hear you from further away. So I did actually manage to get a variable implemented so that would work fine as well. Obviously with like a skeleton, skeletons can't really hear because they don't have ears. It's just like a magic thing as to why they're alive. But obviously the distance from them hearing you to like a said wolf hearing you is going to be different. So I did actually go into code and implement that in. And finally as well, I did actually manage to get the like hitting, like the combat working as well. I need to stop saying like, I'm saying like an awful lot. But I did actually manage to get the combat working so that when you initially hit them, life doesn't get taken off. You have to get close to them to be able to actually be able to hit. And then I ran into a bug where if you get close to one enemy and hit them, it would then let you from anywhere around the map go on to another enemy and start hitting them. You didn't have to be close to them, and I was like, oh my god, I was pulling my hair out for hours doing this, but I managed to get it working, and I managed to fix everything up, so the combat is pretty much working now. Within the next 2 weeks or so, I'm going to start adding range weapons, range enemies, stuff like that, magic. I do actually want to get started on the HUD, because at the moment you cannot tell when the enemy is hitting you and when your life's going down. All you can see is like a debug system within the console that's telling you that the life's going on. So moving to Thursday. Again, I was just doing a lot of debugging. As you can see, I'm jumping in and out. This is when I'm like debugging code, just trying to get things working, trying to get it a bit more smooth. Me just basically understanding. So like when I'm implementing more enemies and stuff like that, then it's just ease of use. So basically I don't have to go into the code and mess about with stuff. All I need to do is add a script to an enemy, create a scriptable object for said enemy, add the scriptable object to the code, do a bit of fiddling around within the inspector for that enemy, and then job's a carrot. You know, you can fight as much as you can. And as you can see now on screen, I am currently fighting all my enemies just to kind of show you what the combat looks like. And the combat is click to fight, basically. I am going to add a cooldown, or not a stamina as much, but like a cooldown, because at the minute you can straight up just like tap him and it just kills him. But I've got all the enemies working. I think on Friday I do a little bit more within the visuals, so I will shut up and let you now see. We stretch on to Friday, which, as you can see, don't know if I showed you in the previous vlog, but in this one I've put a little bit more of a floor down. As I said before, there's going to be like a nice little marketplace around here. I'm going to do little stone fences to like cover this little bit here and like all around, just to make it into like a little circle, so it's like a nice little town area. And I've also added this nice little rock feature wall thing here. This is a placeholder. I just needed to know what it looked like, and I also needed to get the template for it as well. It was quite difficult because you can't take the game object of the terrain and put it into an external 3D modeling program like Blender. So what I had to do is I had to get the top-down view of said like height map, if that makes sense, and copy it into Blender, and then obviously mimic the shape of like the height. So yeah, I've got the basic shape, and I also know that I want rock as well. I didn't want like, I don't know, wood or anything like that. I did definitely want rock, and now I've seen it, and obviously you can see through it and stuff like that. It's not very good like modeling. It was just a placeholder to like get the correct like shape of the terrain down, which I think I've done quite good, to be fair. I've also updated the... Did you just do a little bunny hop there? Oh, seems to be a little problem there. Yeah, I've also edited the terrain a little bit as well, so you can now enter 4 of the 5 houses on this actual map. What I'm going to do, instead of modelling like different houses, like buildings for said blacksmith and like a different shop, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna turn this house into like a blacksmith's and like this house into a shop. I might actually model a blacksmith and put it like there or something, just because it's a different kind of building. But like shops and stuff like that, you can obviously incorporate into just like a standard building, because that's usually what it is anyway. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it for this week. Again, I've not really done a lot. I modelled the spider, I textured the spider, I implemented the spider into the game. I've done a little bit of detailing on the town. I've finally come to grips with what I want to do with the town. Obviously with work, I've got kids and stuff like that, so it's just like, it's difficult to get like a weekly devlog update out. but I will try my best. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you've liked this video, then obviously like the video. If you've disliked the video, leave a comment down below why you disliked the video. If you've got any ideas on what I could do to improve or add on to the game, then do leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to check that within the week or whatever, because obviously I get notifications for it. So yeah guys, I've been Mr. Benji. Until the next video, thank you very much for watching and have a good day.